All right, back for round two after a very sad round one loss, but you know what are you gonna do? Mono red just gets you sometimes. So this hand is pretty nice. This is roughly exactly what we want to be doing. So 4 land, 3 spells, all our colors, 2 mana card, 2 threats. Hopefully draw into our bigger stuff a little bit later. But yeah, not much else you can ask for. Alright, so we paused for a little bit. Opponent came back. Or rather, showed up for the first time. Now we are ready to rumble. So if our opponent is a mirror match, I'm likely not going to play anything on turn 3. I could see playing a Brimaz. I kind of want to use Nullify to stop their first threat. Since we have a Magma Jet, I think this allows us to hedge against Rabblemaster. One of the things that you definitely don't want to be doing in these mirror matches is just running Mantis Rider into their 2 open mana and just getting it lightning striked. That is one of the surefire ways to fall behind. Thankfully, we have Brimaz in our deck, so that kind of changes things a little bit, where they basically need Nullify. And I haven't seen a widespread adoption of Nullify quite yet, and I honestly don't think it'll even really get there. It's just like not really what the deck wants to be doing as a whole. So stuff like Brimaz, well, it's kind of like what Brad was doing with Hordling Outburst, right? Where it's like they would keep open 2 mana to kill his Rabblemaster, and then he would play Hordling Outburst. And Brimaz is kind of the same thing, where it's like, oh man, like I kept this mana open, and you just got me. So he Banishing Lighted my Brimaz. Not a lot of versions play Banishing Light. Oh, got another Brimaz on top. So now we have the option of playing Mantis Rider or holding open mana, and I like Rider here since he's already on the back foot, and especially with 2 Pain Lands too. Like if he wants to play his own Mantis Rider and take 2 damage, cool, I'm fine with that. If you want to like lightning strike this or whatever, also probably fine because that means that they're not developing their boards. So I like playing Mantis Rider here and jamming. Get Magma Jetted, and then it looks like they found a basic finally. And Mantis Rider dies. So now we gotta do some weird stuff. Gotta take a damage against this Brimaz because this is our second white. And if we didn't tap this, then we wouldn't have 2 blue for Nullify. So the bad part would be if we got Sarkened, but thankfully it's only a Stoke. And since nothing has really happened here, we're just going to go ahead and Magma Jet. We still have Nullify to deal with the next threat. Basically just want to keep some pressure on here. So another Mantis Rider and a Dissolve, and I'm really tempted to just take this Mantis Rider and keep hitting. But I really don't want to get Sarkened. And if I play Mantis Rider, they play Sarken, and then I draw Dissolve, I'm in a really bad spot. So I'm going to keep them both on top, certainly. But I'm just going to draw this Dissolve first. And this is probably going to look pretty suspicious here, where I keep them both on top and then pass the turn. But I think ultimately this is what has to be done. If I play Mantis Rider and it gets burned, I'm probably just going to let that happen. But I like Sarken. Sarken is the one way I could lose this game. So I'm going to try and play around that. So they're keeping all their mana open, and I don't think I want to deploy this Mantis Rider into this open mana. And basically no matter what happens, I'm going to be able to play Mantis Rider and have Dissolve open at a later time. So maybe get them to tap out for something, and then I can play this Mantis Rider. And they're gonna start burning me a little bit. Another Magma Jet, so 14 to 12. I think I'm still ahead. I have Dissolve and Mantis Rider, but this game could certainly be more in control, you know? It would be nice, but I like my spot still. And we'll see what they did with that Magma Jet, because that's going to be kind of relevant. So 1 on top, 1 on bottom. We get to counter this Rabblemaster. They tapped out, or tapped pretty low at least. And then Mantis Rider gets a sneak in here for 3. Draw another Nullify, which is not bad. Oh, and I messed up there. That was really bad. That was unbelievably bad. We did this like the reverse of the Brimaz thing. I needed to tap that Battlefield Forge so I could have Dissolve or Nullify. Don't Sarkin me, please. Oh, that was so bad. No, I'm getting Sarkined. I wish I could just dissolve this. Ah! I am big stupids. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And obviously I draw Disdainful Stroke. So now I'm losing because I'm dumb. I think I navigated that game to be in a good spot, right? But just a little mistap action there. And now we're probably losing. Gotta draw an answer to the Sarkin. I mean, we have like all the threats covered, right? Now I'm just losing to the Sarkin. Another land is not going to do it. Time is running out. Man, I could have gotten them to 6 for sure, and then it depends what their 4 cards would have been, whether or not they could actually deal with Mantis Rider or not. I'll nullify that. Probably going to have to draw a dig through time here. Lightning Strike would certainly be fine, but kind of need a big answer. Just a really big card to get back in this. This is a Jeskai Charm to try and gain some life. I'm not down with that. That is not going to happen. Plus this lets us scry, which will hopefully help. Nullify is not what we want. So now 5 to 6. Draw Flooded Strand. Can't use that because I'm going to take another Sarkin hit. And now things are even more out of reach. Drawing incredibly slim at this point. I feel like I'm just going to get Lightning Striked. Oh, there's a dig. That's a start. Just need to hit the Banishing Light here, I guess. Can't really be anything else. There's a Lightning Strike, so I just die anyway. Oh my god. Ugh. I'm so dumb. Why am I so dumb? So Nullifies are great in this matchup. Strokes are basically worse negates. I like a lot of the high-end stuff except for end hostilities. I'll keep in 1 in case Rabble Master gets out of control, but I actually like setting up Mantis Rider here. And I take out a Magma Jet because I'm on the play, but I could see swapping Jet for End on the draw. Oh man, that was brutal. So dumb. I would blame it on it being early or late, or me not being awake, or me trying to commentate while I'm playing, but none of those are good excuses. That was just bad. Especially since I did it correctly the first time, you know? So Sand is fine. Brimaz on 3, no way to interact with what they're doing, but hopefully Brimaz puts enough pressure on them that they have to react to me, kind of like last game, and then I can kind of set it up. Like this game especially, I have better ways to leverage that into getting ahead. Whereas last game it was like, all right, tap out to deal with your Brimaz. If I slam Sarkin there, like they would have just lost. So now I'm looking at a Sarkin on top. I already have one. More Sarkins are probably good. Just a little sketchy on the mana situation. Plus, I kind of want some cheap interaction. So I'm actually going to bottom this, and this might be a mistake. Time will tell, I suppose. But I feel like I do just want some cheaper stuff. Like this matchup is pretty volatile. You know, it's like you get a bunch of like clunky stuff going on, and you can't really catch up. So I'm gonna bottom this despite it being my 5th land. Again, I feel like you'll draw lands naturally. Everything should be okay. And we did manage to find a lightning strike, so that is good. And then we'll see what happens with this Brimaz. It is in play. It is not nullified. It could get Banishing Lighted. And that would not be the best thing, but certainly not the end of the world either. It would be nice if I had an untapped land so I could just like fire off a Steam Augury and just get a bunch of resources, and then hopefully I'd be able to present like multiple threats, or at least like threat plus counterspell in the next few turns. That'd be good. Kind of just want to draw some cards, have more options. If that does not happen, well, plays a Rabble Master. That actually sets things up pretty nicely, I think. Oh, Moto. All right, we're gonna pause for a second while Moto tries to block. Too many things going on. All right, cool. We blocked. And they killed the token, rightfully so. All right, but yeah, like I was saying, I think this sets things up pretty nice. Definitely want that negate. Negate is great. Sets things up pretty well where we get to kill this Rabble Master and get a hit in. And then if they ever want to deal with the Brimaz, then I'll either get to Steam Augury or Sarkin, depending when and what. I'm predicting a Stoke the Flames, though. That is what I think is going to happen. Alright, so now I think we're just going to deploy this Ram. I'm going to scry first, get some more information. Banishing Light, that's a good one. That deals with basically any threat and a Sarkin, so I kind of want to just play the Ram and then have Counterspell mana open for Sarkin, but it's also certainly possible that I should just be Steam Auguring here, because otherwise I have potential for 2 wasted mana, and that's never good. Basically, you just want to use your mana every turn of every game. So no 5th land forthcoming, or no untapped 5th land, so not getting Sarkin this turn, but it should be fine. It'll let me keep open Augury or Negate for next turn, and then I get to start kind of like pulling the game away from him with this Ram. And especially since he didn't play a threat that turn. If he played like a Mantis Rider or whatever, yeah, I would have to Sarkin it, but won't be surprised to see a dig through time here. Yep, there it is. Okay, so plan here is to negate that. They'll play a Sarkin, and then I can either Sarkin it or Banishing Light it, depending on what happens. Never gonna get a chance to fire off the Steam Augury, though. Alright, Sarkin's in the building. And they did not activate it. Didn't want to get a Jeskai Charmed, I guess? I don't know what's going on here. So if I had 6 mana, I would probably play Brimaz and Banishing Light. But as is, I am more than fine activating my Sarkin, killing theirs, and then dealing them a point. But if I could double spell here, I guess Sarkin is kind of a double spell, because I kill the thing and play my thing. Yeah, playing Sarkin is probably still better, because they could also just like Banishing Light my Banishing Light, free up their Sarkin, kill my Brimaz, and then I'd be in like a world of trouble, so. Okay, 4 to me. Sarkin down to 1. And presumably a Lightning Strike or Magma Jet to finish that thing off. So right now the sheep's not doing a whole lot, or at least it doesn't look that way. But every turn I get an extra life. I still have this blocker, and it makes it harder and harder and harder for them to close out the game, especially since they just had to use 2 burn spells on Sarkin. So, ooh, Anger of the Gods. Hello. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, so every turn they just have to use 2 spells to kill my thing. I'm going to hold on to this Magma Jet still. And I have 4 blue, so I'm just going to get another white source. And I think I should fire off the Steam Augury right now. I don't want to get this negated or stroked or anything. So we augury into the Misers and Hostilities, which is not great, but it is what it is. I think at this point we just put Nullify with all the lands. So it's like 2 answers versus 1 answer and a bunch of lands. That seems pretty even, and I really don't mind which split I get here. Which is kind of the key to this card. It's like, unless there's something really specific that you're searching for, a lot of the times it's like an End Hostilities or a finisher like an Elspeth. You can split it like 4 and 1, but like when your deck is like kind of the same stuff, like, you know, I have 3 removal spells. I think I would rather have the Nullify versus any of these other ones, which is why I put it with the 2 lands, which are not necessarily good cards. But you want to make these splits in such a way where like you don't mind either pile that you get, and you're never gonna get like the card that you want the most, you know, unless you trick them or, you know, they prioritize the wrong things, right? But you just make it so it's a solid draw spell, and then that's it. And now my graveyard is flush, and whenever I draw a Dig Through Time, I'll be able to fire that off for super cheap. So I did get the Nullify I wanted, but I'm just going to Magma Jet this, save the Nullify for something else. I don't have nearly enough burn in my deck to, you know, try and go upstairs and finish them off that way. So I just scryed 2 lands at the bottom. So I'm not really eager to crack this Flooded Strand. Because, you know, I thin my deck of 1 land, but I actually shuffle in 2, so it doesn't actually do anything. Seeker of the Way, I don't think I care about. Like, I have the Ram holding it back. If he wants to, like, play some spells main phase to gain some life or whatever, it's fine with me. I'm not trying to burn him out. You know, that ship has kind of sailed. He dealt with all my threats. So, I think this game is going to be won. I guess I did put a Sarkin on the bottom, but I shuffled after that, so that should be fine. I think I shuffled after that. No, I augury to... No, I did shuffle after that. That's where the Plains came from. Yeah, so still not shuffling. Okay. This is curious. This could be a bluff attack or a post-combat lightning strike. I'm kind of fine if my Ram dies, though. I don't really mind. Yeah. They have 1 card left. I have a bunch of answers, so things are looking pretty good. Might take a while for me to actually win this game, but I'm certainly ahead. So, is Nullify or Lightning Strike more important? I think that's a pretty interesting question. I think Nullify is, because they could have something like Prognostic Sphinx. Wingmate Rock is also a possibility. I haven't seen too many Wingmate Rocks, but I don't think I'm going to be using it to kill a Planeswalker, and I don't think I'm going to be using it to finish him off. So I think Nullify is better. So now, since I could crack these 2 Flooded Strands to get 2 lands, but I don't think it changes anything, so I'll just keep them in play. Not take damage if I don't have to. All right, so now we have a dissolve. So now we're sitting pretty comfortable again. Magma Jet me, that's cool. Ram doing a bunch of work. Just give me that nice buffer. Makes it so the games can go long here. And there's the dig through time. All right. So presumably I'm going to be putting a bunch of bad stuff on the bottom. So we're going to bust these strands now so that I don't have to shuffle in all the bad stuff later. Hey! Come here. You're being awful, so you're gonna play Magic with me now. Apologize for being loud. It's kind of nice just being able to delve with abandon too, just not really caring about what's in your graveyard. So there's a negate. We have this dissolve. Certainly going to fight over this. This is worth protecting. They have another counterspell, kind of annoying, but... Alright, Reef on the bottom. Dig resolves. We get a bunch of poopers. Get a Ram and a Banishing Light. That stuff is just not good. But we get to put 6 land on the bottom, so... 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 lands down, 6 on the bottom. So we have 6 lands and 23 cards. Alright, so Mantis Rider. Do I want to nullify you or do I want to Banishing Light you? I think I'm going to nullify. I'd rather save these Banishing Lights for Sarkans. Brimaz, my buddy. What is up? Got a lot of hits left in the deck. Another Sarkin, 2 Elspeth, 2 Digs. A lot of good stuff. Jeskai Charm also pretty good. So Brumaz is going to get a hit in. It's good news for us. So he's going to Jeskai Charm it after I get a token. That does not seem optimal. I'm okay with it though. So now we know we're drawing a Brumaz next turn. Also fine with that. And this should be the part of the show where they start flooding out a little bit, because they've been 6 land all spells for quite a while. Get this Brumaz back out here. In with a cat, and then probably next turn, can like attack and either lifelink or save this Jeskai Charm, I guess. Alright, well now we have 2 Jeskai Charms. I don't think they've seen a charm from us. And being able to surprise lifelink might be good. So that's one of the things that might be worth saving. But given the amount of Magma Jets and Anger of the Gods and whatnot in their deck, I feel like they think that we're the mirror match. Or did. I doubt they think that now. Especially since they saw in hostilities. So, alright. Rabble Masters are in our opponent's deck. So we're gonna play Jet since we're on the draw. Possible I could want an Anger or something. Anger kills most things that these decks play. It's just like sometimes they have some weird stuff. But now I think I kind of have the gist where their deck is pretty normal. So anger might be reasonable. Still like having all the card drawing. I think this is actually fine. Probably won't need a sweeper. Hope not, at least. We'll see. We shall see. If I saw more Banishing Lights that game, maybe I could bring in the Erase. I'm just not sure how many they're actually playing. Alright, opening hand is great. There's a little tension here between all these ETB tap lands and being able to curve into Brimaz, so kind of unfortunate, but not the end of the world, especially since we have a Ram. So we can like nullify the turn 3 draw, play a Ram. Well, now we have a Shivan Reef. So I guess we're just playing that because I want to fetch a white. So they're just mono tap lands, so I'm probably going to follow suit here. Pretty sure I just want to catch their first creature with the Nullify. Yeah, especially now since I drew Dig. Lightning Strike is great. We'll take that one. Yeah, since I drew Dig, I don't want to run Brimez out there and like risk falling behind to a bunch of Mantis Riders, so Magma Jet me, that's fine. That's fine. They're not doing anything, including not playing lands. So what happened here? One on bottom, one on top. That is suspicious. It's very suspicious. It's alright though. Now we can double spell them. Might be more prudent to actually play a tap land that turn and then start going like Brimaz double spell. But I feel like Brimaz is just going to get Jeskai Charmed. And actually, because of Jeskai Charm, well, I probably should have cracked this so that he couldn't like charm my Ram and shuffle it away. But I'll fix that now. Because I think I do want this Ram, especially since I have this Dig. And he's Magma Jetting me, you know, like, Ram is going to undo those Magma Jets in a couple turns. So the one thing I have to be kind of wary of here is Sarkhan. And again, I think Lightning Strike is more important than a Nullify now that I kind of have an idea of what's in this person's deck. Could certainly be wrong. I could just jam Prognostic Sphinx next turn and I'd just be in a world of trouble, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So, like I said, mostly worried about Sarkhan here. Don't want to play Brimaz into them drawing an untapped land and playing Sarkhan necessarily. Might be what I have to do, though, because that would allow me to use Lightning Strike to kill it, so maybe that's worth it. Well, scry first. Always scry first. Get some more information before you actually make your decision. If I have like a negate on top or whatever, I probably won't risk it. Because I can always Jeskai Charm the Sarkhan. Another Brimaz. I mean, yeah. I'm pretty sure I want that. It's kind of weird where it's like there are some other things that I kind of want more. Certainly having a dissolve or negate would make me feel a lot safer about this game state, but Brimaz is also very solid, very like pretty tough for them to deal with, so I think it's worth keeping. Again, if I get Sarkined, then I can strike it, play another Brimaz, and then I'm like pretty set up to dig through time next turn. And then hopefully we can just find an Elspeth or something and put this game away. I don't know, though. Sarkin is just always bad news. Every time. I think like most of the lists had like 2 or whatever. You played 3. I started playing with that list, and it was just like, yes, more Sarkin. This deck is a little bit different. I'm not as aggressive, and I don't have as many red sources, so I'm not jamming as many Sarkins, but I can totally understand the want to playing Sarkin. In high numbers. Stormbreath Dragon is another consideration. Ends up being pretty good against these Lightning Strike plus Jeskai Charm decks where they don't really have a good way to deal with it, aside from Stoke the Flames. But the more Sarkins, the more Stormbreaths you have, the more pressure it puts on their Stokes. That's pretty nice. There are like some Red-Green Monsters decks and some Teamer decks out there that play them, and I think that's the next place I'm going to go. I experimented with Mardu a little bit, and it was okay. It was basically just okay. A lot of little stuff that kind of just runs headfirst into Siege Rhino and Brimaz and stuff. So then some payoff cards, and certainly the payoff cards are good, and they need the little stuff to be good. But I would rather have most of my cards have, I'd rather have them all be 7s than some of them be 4s and some be 9s, if that makes sense. So Brimaz is getting double shot down. He's probably not going to be happy that I'm just going to play another one. Lightning Strike on top. I'm going to keep that. That gives, it's not the best answer to Sarkin, but it is a pretty reasonable, clean answer. I guess maybe now I should check and see if he scryed at the top, because... let's see here. Bottom. Okay. If it was more likely that he was going to play a Sarkin, then maybe I could afford to hold back and wait until I could cast Dig and defend with a counterspell maybe. But it's still almost always right to just jam, especially after you had to use Jet and Strike to kill the first one. It's what are you going to do to this one, Alright, so do I want to strike this Rabble Master? I think I do. Just want to keep that from getting out of control. And then I have another strike on top. God's willing. Okay, that's fine. Fine with me. So down to 2 cards. It looks like the scry went on the bottom. So they're searching for some sort of answer to the Cat King Menace. And it's probably not going to find a lot of them. Alright, so I can dig for 4 mana. Or I can strike and dig for 3. I'm going to get these tokens online. And I think the onus is on them to tap out. I could dig now to play around negate, but if he goes Sarkin minus, I can pump my guy. So there's Stoke on Brimaz, and that's kind of the same thing, where this is worth saving. This thing has been a constant thorn in my opponent's side, and it is probably going to close the game pretty quickly here. All right, so I'm gonna dig for 2 mana. Certainly some consideration to be given for making your next dig also good. And I do find another dig. Um, I could just see taking Sarkin here. Maybe that's a little too aggressive. I'd have to take Sarkin plus untapped land. Alternatively, I could just take like Jeskai Charm Sarkin or Brimez Sarkin or Dig Sarkin. I'm definitely taking Sarkin, one way or the other. So Charm, Dig, Brimez, another land. I think if I'm playing this game where I'm planning on my Brimez dying, I want Dig instead of another Brimez. So I'm not taking Brimez. I can play Jeskai Charm to continue to try and play around like those 4 damage things. And then next turn, if I draw an untap land, I'll have Sarkin plus Jeskai Charm. So if I take Sarkin now, what happens? Attack for 9, puts him to 7. I have 4 relevant permanents. Kind of all in at that point. Yeah, let's do it. Let's close this game out here. For the land, I'm going to take the Flooded Strand because I'm putting some sweet stuff on the bottom that I'd rather just shuffle back in. This might be wrong. This line might be too aggressive. I'm at a high life total. I have a reasonable amount of threats. I just resolved a dig through time. Like, I'm in a really good spot. Maybe I should have just taken like Sarkin and another dig and just continued playing the longer game. This opens me up to potentially losing, but yeah, they just concede. Like, I felt like this put me far enough ahead where it's like almost impossible for them to come back. I don't know. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, I get end hostilities, and then they still take a hit from Sarkin. If they spend their turn just dealing with Sarkin, then I have 6 power worth of cats. So, yeah, this worked out well. I think playing the longer game might have given me, like, a higher win percentage chance. It's like, 98% instead of 97%, but hey, who knows?